Hello everyone. Today I am going to explain you a new chapter, that is functions, or it can be called methods. Okay? So functions or methods. Now, in the earlier chapter you learned about an array, right? Where you need to manage the optimum utilizations of memory space with the help of a single variable name. But here we are going to concentrate about the complexity management of the logical process. Okay, so let us understand the concept of this function with the help of a real world example. Okay, suppose this is my orange juicers and another one is my apple juicer. Okay, so in my kitchen there are two juicers, one is called the orange juicers, another one is apple juicer. Okay, orange juicer only produce means there is an orange, okay, so it will only produce the orange juice, where in apple juicer, so it takes the apple and it produces the apple juice. Okay, so just think about these two juicers. If I need to make a juice, it may be anything, so I need these two juicers. So that means in my kitchen it's acquired more memory space, right? As well as it is very much costly because you have to buy both of them, right? So what can we do? Okay, so can we make one single juicer which will produce both apple juice and the orange juice and produce two different juice, right? So that means it didn't acquire more space in the kitchen, number one, and number two is it's very much cost efficient, right? So I'm just with this example I'm trying to explain you that I'm doing an addition program. It's a very simple program. If in my program I want multiple times the addition programs, so it is quite difficult and quite annoying to write it down so multiple times in my programs. So I just write one code of a addition program and I just call them. Okay, and how can we call them? So later of the video we learn this one, or later of the chapter we learn this one, how to call the functions. Okay, so I am talking about only this. So suppose I am giving you another example, another real world example. Suppose I am running a company, a small company having the 50 or 60 computers in my company. Okay, and I want that from every computer I want to print something. Okay, my employee wants that from every computer they wants to print something. Is it very much affordable for me while I am running a small company? No. Okay, so what can I do? I just make a single, or I just you can say that I just buy a single printer and I configure this printer with every machine. Okay, and my problem is solved. So from every machine it will take print from this printer, right? So number one, the advantage of this function, we need to manage the complexity of the program, right? So that means it didn't take more space. With a very less space we can run our program. As simple as that. Okay, so in terms of Java programming, how can we define a function? Okay, so just rub this one. The first thing, what is the definition define a function. Remember that, I'll just write over there. A function can be defined a set of statements or we can say that or block of statements okay. So you can write these two important points, set of statement or block of statement that can do a specific task. Remember that these two are key points, set of statements or block of statements and do a specific task. I hope all of you write it down the definition. Now we want to understand that definition. Suppose this is my some block of statements written over this block. Some statements will be there and it is perform a specific task that we don't know what type of task is performed. Okay. So if you remember the example of the juicer, if I am talking about something, we want to make some juice of some fruits, so the input it will be taken from the user, from us, right? So that means here also it will take some input, right? And after performing with this input, it will produce some output, right? Now the thing is that what type of statement or what type of functions will be there and written on that block of statements. Suppose here I will write C equals to A multiply B. So that means these functions means what are the functions inside this function block? It will perform the multiplication operation, right? So first thing here, it will take some input like A equals to 3 and B equals to 5. Suppose this will be given by the user. So it will works into this block and here the process is C equals to A into B. There is a simple kind 3 into 5 and produce the result that is 15. Okay. So that means it is a set of statements, that means this one or the block of statement means same thing that can do a specific task, that is the multiplication. I think all of you understood it, right? So just note it down this one. I am just rub the board, okay? Now, I am going to explain the types of function. Okay? There is two types of function. Number one is called predefined, or we can say that inbuilt, predefined or inbuilt function, or we can say that user defined function. Okay, predefined or inbuilt function or user defined function. Now what is predefined function? Predefined function means, or we can define this one. Predefined functions are those functions that is already defined in Java. That is already defined in Java. For example, if you remember that when we write math dot sil 2.5. So what is this math.sil or any math.min, math.max, math.pow? So these functions, using these functions, it will generate some output, right? So these are the inbuilt functions that is already defined in Java. Now we learn the user-defined function. That means those are called user-defined function. Means we define them. Means we need to write them in Java language. So we need to learn what is the structure of a function, right? So after this one, we learn what is the structure or what is the or how can we define a method. Okay. So I just drop this one. So these are the two functions. You just copy it in your notebook. So the next one is we can say the structure of a method, or we can say that defining a method, anything you can. So the structure first is we write here access specifier. First we write here access specifier, then the return type. Okay, but one thing here, if we are using non-static function, so no need to write something. If we write the static function, so we just mention over here static, remember that. That is up to you. If we are making a static method, that time we need to write here static. If we are making a non-static method, so no need to write this static one. Okay. Then the return type. Then function name. Then function name. Then this bracket, give this bracket. Here we write parameter list. Okay, and here we write the second braces, and here we will write statements. Remember that. So structure of a method. In structure of a method, first we write the access specifier. Now, what are the access specifier? You know, access specifier means it may be public, it may be private, or it may be protected, right? So these three access specifier we know in Java. So first thing is public. Public means you know that anyone can access your function, right? In the private, you know that private means only that class having access this one. Okay. The next thing is static. Static means I already told you that if we are dealing with the static function, then we have to write the static. If we don't write or use the non-static method, so no need to write static here. Okay, that's up to us. Next thing is return type. Return type means which type of data you want to return. Suppose you are dealing with the integer, so you have to return it, right? So if you are dealing with the float or maybe double, so you have to return that one. So write here the return type. Then the function name. You can write the function name as your choice. Suppose I am doing a addition program, so I can write the function name like add. Okay, okay, this is my function name, or I can write here sum. Okay, so that's up to me, that whatever the function name in my program. Okay, the next thing is parameter list. Here, suppose I want to accept two parameter from the user, just like the same example that I am already given, c equals to a into b. So here we want a and b, right? So we will write this parameter list like int a comma int b. This is the right procedure. Some of the students in exam they will write int a comma b. That is wrong. You cannot write like that. You have to write int a comma int b. Remember that. Okay. And here we write the statements. After the statements, here another important part, that is we have to write here return statement, and here we have to write the value. Okay, remember that. So after the statement we have to write here return statement and then value. Now what is the function of a return statement, or why we use them? This return. Return means, return is a statement that sends back the value. We can say the sends back the value means this one, okay, to the caller program. Okay, so remember that it will send back the value to the caller program. Okay, that's it. It also called, the return is also called function terminator. Remember that. It is also called function terminator, and we write the return statement at the end of the function. We will write the return statement at the end of the function. You remember that. Okay. So today you learned the structure of the method. In the next video, I will give you a proper example of a method. Okay. So for the time being, you practice this one. Okay, you just write down the structure. It is very important to remember this structure, otherwise you cannot define a method. Thank you.